Okay, in this video I'm going to look at different ways you can get your app to display different layouts that you've created. So if you have another layout that you want to display, say at the click of one of your buttons that you've set up, then how can we achieve this? How can we go about doing this? So the first way we're going to look at is just simply opening up the new layout. So what I'm going to do is create a new project. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this new window. Now think of a window, like I think I've said in my videos before, as a window, look at it as another activity. But we don't call them windows, we call them activities. So I'm not going to call this activity because I don't want to get confused with some of the files and classes that we have. So I'm just going to call it a new window, but really it's not a new window, it's going to be a new activity. But in this case, first thing we're going to do is open up a new layout. So I've just clicked next, so I'm just going to go with the defaults that we've got here, and I want blank activity, and we're going to leave that as default. So here we go. So what I'm going to need to do first is I'm just going to create some layouts. I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. So here's my main layout. So I'm going to go into the text design. Just going to reformat this real quick, and I'm going to change. Just going to change this. Just going to change this quickly. I'm just going to put this is the welcome screen, and just going to make it just tidy up a bit. Say there. Just quickly increase the text size to say 30 XP. That'll do. Maybe a little bit smaller, maybe 25. Okay, and I'm going to quickly pop a button in. And just going to say continue. And we're going to call this button, we're going to give it an ID of continue button. So what we want to do is when we click this button, it then opens up another layout. So we'll quickly create another new layout. So new XML layout file. I'm going to make this relative, and we're going to call it options menu, something like that. So I'm going to quickly put a text view there, and I'm going to pop in a couple of buttons. Okay, and in this text view, I'm just going to put what do you want to do. Just quickly enlarge that. Okay, maybe I should have put those buttons in there. I'll just delete these buttons and quickly pop some new fresh buttons in. One there, one there. So I'm just going to have a quickly open up this layout. So we're going to go from here to here. So I'm just going to quickly define an on-click method on our button, and I'm just going to have it say open options menu, and it's saying that it's complaining that there's no method called that, so we're going to create this method. So create the method in main activity Java, and so when we click this button, it runs this method here. So all we're going to say is set content view r dot layout, which is this here, layout, and we want this options menu. So dot options menu, and that's it. That's it. So we can run this now. So just click on that. Okay, so here we go. So when we click on this button, it then pops up. The problem with doing it this way is what's actually done is it's stayed in the same activities. This is the same window. It hasn't actually created a new window. It stayed in the same window, which is the same activity. So if I click the back button, it just exits the application. There we go. Right, so if I run that again and continue, press the back button, it exits the application. But what we really want to do is, if you click the back button, it shuts down this window and goes back to our welcome screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of that welcome screen and have the application open up into this window. So then when we click on these buttons, it will then open up a new activity. And this button we're going to have it just display an image, and this button we're going to display another layout with text. What it needs to do is quickly go into main activity Java, and on create method, I'm just going to change that to options menu. So when the application starts up, it opens up this layout, it bypasses this layout. So immediately go to this layout here. So this button here, we want it to say open an image. So what I'm going to do quickly is go to an image, grab this picture, it's a picture of an orc, and copy it, and just going to pop it in our drawables folder. And we'll leave it, or we'll call it, just call it orc. So there's our picture of an orc. So this button here, I'm just going to have it say show image of orc. And I'm just going to turn the caps off. Text all caps false. And this button, we're going to have it display what is the meaning of life. And again, text all caps to false. And just there we go. So this button, we're just going to quickly create an on-click method, and we're going to call it show image. And this button, we're going to have a on-click method saying show meaning of life. So this is going to display another layout basically, so I have to create another layout. Quick, new layout file. I'm going to keep it linear, and I'm just going to call this orc. And I'm going to quickly pop in a image view. It's right there. Just about to see it. And in the text, I'm just going to have it say match parent, because I want the image to be the size of the screen. And I'm going to have that say match parent. And I'm going to define the source of the image to be at the drawable folder, which is where we put our picture, and it's going to be the orc. So it's going to display our orc. There we go. And for this button, I'm going to set up another layout. And I'm going to make this a relative layout, just because I want to. And I'm going to call this meaning of life. And do a quick text view. And inside that text, I'm just going to make it bigger. Say 150 SP, and that's going to say 42. Okay. But this time, like I say, what we're going to do is, when we click on this image, it's going to open up another activity, another window. So to do that, so to open up another activity, we have to create an intent. An intent is all an intent is it's just telling Android that you just basically it's an intent, you intend to do something. So you can use it to start a new service or in this case a new activity. So we go to our Java code. Oh yeah, we need to define our on-click methods in our main activity. So we just go create show image in main activity, and there's that one, and create show meaning of life. So we've got these two methods that when we click those buttons it runs this method. So we need to create an intent, or we need to create an intent to start an activity. Now the easiest and probably clearest way to do this is literally say that you want to start an intent, and this most people call their intents intent, but I don't want you to get confused with the object and the class. So I'm going to call this intent show awk. So we're creating an intent object called show awk, and it's going to be equal to a new intent and inside this intent we need to pass the context, which is in this case this main activity. So but it's this. You can put main activity this, but it's just because you're in main activity you can just say this. So this so from this class you want to go to our awk class, which we haven't created yet, which I'm just about to do. So we need to create a class called awk class. So just like this main activity class, but called awk. So what we need to do is go to our Java folder, and under our package, we just right click, new Java class, and we just call this awk. And there we go. So we need to make sure this extends activity, just like our main activity. We'll go to our main activity. This extends activity, so we get all the methods that we can use, and we want this on create method, and we want it in here. So all we need to do is right click, generate, and we want an override method. So we want to override the on create method, which is this one here, this saved instance state bundle, this one here. So just click on that one and OK, and it sets it up. And inside this activity, just like this activity, when this method executes, we want to set the content view. So in this case we want to set the content view to this awk XML, so which is under resources dot layout awk, and there we go. So when this class is opened and it runs this on create method, it will open up this layout called awk. So we go back to our main activity, go back to the button that we pressed, this intent, and there we go. It's accepted this awk class because it was red before because it didn't exist. So now it exists. It's happy to run that. So we need to put our semicolon in, and then we want to start that. We want to start this intent. So we go to start activity because we want to start an activity, and we want to. It wants an intent. It wants to pass in an intent, which is this. This is the intent we created. So all we need to do is pass in that intent object. So show awk. So it's going to start this intent here, which we created. But to start an activity, we have to tell our manifest, our Android manifest, that this activity exists. So we need to open up our Android manifest. And there's already an activity here, which is the main activity, which is when you start your app, it runs this main activity. So you want to start another activity, and the quickest way to do that is Oh, not inside this window, sorry. Let's close this. Outside of that activity, you want to open up another activity. So, activity, and we just want to close this as well. Okay. And inside here, we want dot. Just type dot, and there's our org class. And that's it. That'll start that activity. And we'll just quickly set one up for this button as well, real quick. So I'll whisk through this one. So main activity, show meaning of life, create a new intent. We'll call this one, we'll call this Marvin, and it equals new intent. And inside this intent, we want to go from this class to our. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll create the class first. So on our Java, on our package, new Java class. I'll call this one life. Okay, and we want to extend activity. So we get the activities methods. We want to override. We're going to generate an override method, which is our onCreate. And inside this onCreate, we want to set a content view to r.layout. Meaning of life. Let's go back to our main activity, and inside we're going to go from this class to life class. And semicolon. Specify it in the Android manifest. So all we do is copy this, a new activity, which we just call life. Okay, and now all we want to do now is we want to, like this one up here, start activity. So start activity, Marvin. Okay, so now we can run that. There's our window. So this is our new window. So if we click on show image of org, so there's our image of an org. Now what it's actually done here is it's actually created a new window or new activity. So now there are now two activities running. There's this one and there's a window behind it. So if I press this back button, it's closed that window, just like your browser. When you close a window, if you have multiple windows up, you close one, you see the other one behind it. It's exactly what you're doing here. So when you open up this, it starts this activity and it opens a new window. And when we click on this back button, what happens is it runs a method called onBackPressed, which finishes the current activity that's running. And again, if we press it again, it closes that activity. So just to show you that's what happens when we click the back button. If we go to org Java file, and if we right click and generate override methods, and we run the or we get the on back pressed. There we go, on back pressed. We delete this, which finishes our activity. So when on back pressed, when the back button is pressed, this method runs, and at the moment it won't actually do anything. So if we load back up again, we click on show image of org, now we click our back button, nothing will happen because it's not doing anything, it's not finishing. But if we were to type finish, which basically finishes the activity that's running, we run that again, and now we press back, closes the activity. So that's a look at different ways that we can display content, display our layouts. And in this case, we used these intents. Now these are called explicit intents because they refer directly to the class that you want to run. So in the next video, what we'll talk about is we'll talk about implicit intents, and we'll go into a bit more description on how they work, because they use intent filters. So we've got to explain a little bit more about that. Okay, thanks for watching.